To me, the greatest revolutionary is not the person who is revolutionary against the status quo, but they're revolutionary against their own selves. They fight their own prejudices, their own ignorances, their own limitations. They fight the things that hold them back. They're revolting against all those things they think they can't do or they're afraid to do.
My name is Robert Wilson, and I'm an artist. Well, I started seriously thinking of becoming a painter when I was about 18. I saw an article in Time magazine about that time. It was, I believe, January 1960, January 11th edition, and it had some photographs of paintings by Frank Stella, who was just a young artist in New York at the time. He was under 30 years old. And I remember seeing those paintings, never seeing anything like that before. And it suddenly just flashed through my mind that art was idea. That you could convey ideas through painting. It wasn't just limited to images. It was a real personal discovery for me at the time. That's what sort of set me on my path. I was influenced by a few painters that significantly influenced by the abstract expressionist painter Mark Tobey. He left behind a tremendous body of work, and I always learned something from looking at his work and studying what he was doing. And so his influence is heavily in my work. Also other abstract expressionists such as Robert Motherwell and Mark Rothko and Gorky, others as well. I started painting assiduously after I saw that article, and I had no idea what direction to take my work. I took art classes at the University of Washington and what's called the Edison Technical School in those days in Seattle. But I think my greatest education has come from studying the works of other artists I like. Well, I grew up outside of Chicago, and as a teenager, I spent a lot of my time at the Chicago Art Institute on Michigan Avenue, and that was a big introduction to contemporary art for me, to go there and look at things. And that's where I first saw Mark Tobey's paintings. That's where I first saw many of the painters that I still admire today. I attended the University of Washington some, and met the artists in the Pacific Northwest, which was a whole art school almost unto itself out there, with painters not only like Mark Tobey, but Morris Graves, Kenneth Callahan, Helmy, quite a few others, Fei Chong, George Tsutakawa, a famous sculptor, and did many of the fountains that are in Seattle and around across the world, actually, and many other painters at the time. And they were, of course, a tremendous influence on me. I was much younger than most of them, but hung around and talked with them. One of the people I met who was a big influence to me was Zoe Dazan. She had a contemporary gallery on Broadway in Seattle, and she was a friend of Peggy Guggenheim, of the Guggenheim family. And she talked a lot about art in her gallery, and she would show me some of her latest purchases, the latest artists she was dealing with, and talked about their art.
Fernando Luis Alvarez Gallery, he had the idea of using retail spaces, and this is a retail store, that are not being rented, to have artists use them as studios. And the artists are kind of filtered through the gallery. They have a program for artists. You can get your name on the list. And when a retail outlet comes available Fernando talks to the owners of the building for the artist to use. And, you know, like most artists, you don't know exactly where you're going to go with this. You have feelings and inclinations. I want to move this way with my art into the future. But whether you do or not well, remains to be seen, because each painting, is, of course, is a tremendous experience for the artist. And each painting paves the way for the next painting. And so you never know exactly. It's like a footstep. One step is here, my next one will probably be here. And you keep creating that until you start achieving something that you say, this is the direction I want to go. This is how I want to make things look. This is how I want to convey an emotional response in the people that view it. I keep always returning to black. I don't know why. I've tried for years to get away from it as a basic color, but I just really like it. It's, I don't know what it is about it. It's, maybe it's just a strong color and has a powerful effect on people's eye.
Well, I would like work that is strong, that speaks for itself, that really makes a solid statement. And that's, I think, I try to put that into every one of my works. They're straightforward, kind of focused works, like strong primary colors, basic strong shapes, monolithic images.